Ben Dubose, news editor, AMP Media, joined by Lisa Shortino, managing editor, Coding Sport Magazine, and Greg Muha, director of conferences, exhibits, and sponsorships at AMP. We are wrapping up the third and final day of the exhibit hall at the 2026 AMP Annual Conference and Expo in Houston. Conference isn't over just yet. We have honoree night tonight, and then there's another day tomorrow until, what, Greg, 5 o'clock on Thursday?
5 o'clock tomorrow.
And so we've got symposiums, forums. It's not over tonight. The exhibit hall is over, but we are winding down. And so this video, we're going to recap the conference. And Greg, let's start at the top. You said going into this week that it was a home game for us. Did we win the home game?
Absolutely. It was a home game, and boy, did the home team fans came out for AMP this week, and really grateful for that. We had a record number of attendees, 6,337, and that surpasses what we had in 2024 in New Orleans, 5,957. So we're just thrilled by that. Great to be here in Houston. And I've been being asked by a lot of people, why do you think that is? And, the reality is we haven't been here actually physically since 2011, and I think there was just a pent-up demand for people to want to really show that hometown Houston pride, and I'm glad we were able to deliver for them.
So it's not like the 2023 Houston Astros who went 0-4 in home league championship series games. We won this.
We won this for sure.
But
and
speaking of
our members won it, really.
Yeah, well,
the members, the exhibitors, the sponsors, the authors, all the volunteers who drive this organization. I just couldn't be more thrilled for them.
But speaking of, we are going to be at the Astros ballpark tonight, Daikin Park, for honoree night.
Absolutely. The best of the best. Honoree night's one of my favorite things. It gets overlooked a little bit by some folks, but when you think about all the time that our volunteers put into what they do, this is the one night a year where AMP says thank you to all those people who are the catalyst that make all of this come to life. I talk to people who are involved in writing papers, reviewing papers, organizing sessions, vice chairing sessions. And the one thing that I always say to them is, thank you for the time that you're putting into this. We all have lives outside of work and what we're doing in volunteer time. And, these people are away from their husbands and wives and children and parents and pets and all those things. So I'm just extremely grateful for them. And it's great that we have this one night that they can be honored, and their families actually come in a lot of times with them to be there and to have a part of that. So it should be really great tonight.
That's great.
It's a beautiful venue.
Wonderful. Looking back at the week, what do you think were some of the highlights? For sure, the standout events. Obviously, keynote. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
For me, I know Women of AMP breakfast was great too. So what were the moments for you that you won't forget?
There were so many. It started off great on opening night, quite honestly, with the opening reception, and I can't thank ExxonMobil Proxima enough for that. We really brought a different theme and a different look, and with AMP turning 5 this year, forged by history and focused on the future, it really was evident in that room, and I was really grateful for that. There was a good energy in that, so that was one of my favorites. The keynote, as you said, definitely was that another one. But I think the exhibit hall, looking at the properties and looking at what people had, there were so many new technologies this year. Some of the robotics and drone technology that we saw, some of the things that people were talking about around carbon capture. Even in our own AMP booth, the Talent Force unveiling and all the things that we had in our booth, it really stood out, and you saw that throughout the show. I would say those are the highlights. The other thing, I think, when you look at some of the symposia, they're going to go on tomorrow, as you were saying, and I had a couple people asking me about that. Hey, I'm at 3 o'clock on a Thursday. Is anybody going to be there? It's amazing how many people stick around to go to those. Like, everybody thinks everybody leaves because the exhibit's gone, but they don't. Those rooms, there are people in there that are going to those sessions because there's so much good content. A lot of the research in progress, we call them RIP, those will be going off tomorrow. So those are still some highlights to come.
Absolutely.
And one thing that really stood out this year, there were a lot of new offerings. For our fans watching, we hope our fans, but this booth is a new concept this year, and we've got the wide shut because there's 3 of us today instead of the usual 2, so you can see outside a little bit, the fishbowl effect, but it's been innovative. It's brought readers and potential customers to us.
Absolutely.
Because instead of us having to hunt down potential interview sources and content sources, they see what's going on in here and they say, that's interesting, I want to take part in that. And so that in and of itself, just from an AMP Publications content perspective, has been really helpful. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's been a lot new this year. So in terms of 2026, what makes it different? What were some of the new things, be it exhibit hall, conference itself, that are different from past years?
Yeah. So obviously, as I mentioned, some of the things here in our booth, But out in the registration area, we brought a first-timers experience. So anybody that was a first-time attendee, we had a whole new journey mapped out for them. And so Chris Leak, our Director of User Experience, and Carlos Parler, our Manager of Customer Service, they were very intentional working with a lot of our staff colleagues in marketing to build up, and membership for that matter, to build up a robust plan so that a first-timer that comes, this can be overwhelming. Where do I go? What do I do? So we had people manning that booth all week long, welcoming folks, telling them, here's what you want to go see, here's what you want to do, here's a checklist and a tick list, here's where you can go for questions, here's all the resources that you have. And that was very, very well received. I was talking to Chris about that yesterday, and he just said what tremendous feedback they got about that. So we're looking forward to build on that, get some momentum, and push that forward. So that was pretty impressive. The keynote, this is the first year we were able to ever have a sponsor for that. And I was very, very impressed by how Retigo Labs leaned into the theming around John Foley, Gucci, as he's known by his call sign, and how they tied in everything that they were doing to where he was at. And they had some really interesting content that they were talking about out of their booth. I took Ernst Toussaint, our Vice President of Civil Infrastructure, over there, and Les Miles over there had so many interesting things that he was talking about with Ernst that you're going to see turn into the technical program next year around how corrosion is the biggest enemy in water in our homes. So stay tuned for that. A lot of things coming in there. But those were two of the biggest things. But we also had over 60 new exhibitors. I think a lot of that had to do with Houston. We had 10 or 11 new sponsors. So just really tremendous.
Yeah, and it seemed like there was, it's certainly not new, but an even greater emphasis on workforce development this year. You mentioned talent force, but ultimately this industry, for all the technologies, it's only as strong as the people, right? And it felt like, from the start, the opening reception, the keynote, a lot of this week was about empowering people, empowering companies to take that next step, move the industry forward. Was that something that you guys, sort of had a conscious effort to put in?
Absolutely. The talent force piece, Alan Thomas and his team that were working with that, they've been doing this for a couple of years. He mentioned that in the launch. And so, we were kind of waiting to see, well, what are some of the thoughts? And there were a lot of drafts and things going on in that nature. But ultimately, once we got the vision of where it was going to land and how it was going to be, we added in the workforce development panel that came in after that. We always knew that we were going to have the launch at the keynote, but the workforce development panel, Talent Force ended up sponsoring a few things, the water stations on the show floor and some of the bench seating, so they had some visibility there. I did get a lot of good feedback around that workforce development panel, so I think they had a really effective launch, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for them. And we in the conferences area, we're looking forward to extending that launch beyond to our area conferences and everything else that we do throughout 2026. One of the things that I really try to do with the conference product line is to help all of our product and staff service areas of staff to use the platform to be integrated in our approach on how we can better serve our members and our customers and create more member value for them.
Fantastic. There was so much enthusiasm about building the workforce that's coming forward, and really it was top of mind for a lot of people as how we keep expanding and growing so that the future can be strong for the industry. It was really inspirational.
I don't know if you know this or not, but you mentioned about the Women of AMP breakfast. There was a lot of young faces in that room.
There were.
A lot of young faces, and as I walked through the floor, we're getting younger. It's good to see.
Yeah,
it's good
absolutely.
to see.
Absolutely.
So looking ahead to AMP 2027, it's 13 months, right? Because it's Columbus, Ohio, northern location, so we wait until April for those.
Yes.
But what's the push there? What's the highlights at this early stage?
I'm really, really excited about Columbus. But before I go that, I just want to say to you, Ben, and to you, Lisa, and all of your team, I really appreciate all of your efforts in this and bringing the news to our members and our readers and our customers. For those that aren't here and haven't been here, boy, they really missed out on some good things, and hopefully we'll get them in the future. And for 2027, a couple of things I'm really excited about. The facility there is so modern. It's a newer facility. It has 2 great hotels connected to it. And there's so many digital branding opportunities for our customers. That's one thing we hear a lot, and you guys know this because you get asked this too. Hey, what is there for media boards? What are there for us for digital advertising? What can we do to get our branding out there? There is almost an unlimited scale of opportunities out there for folks. So we'll be working with our sales and marketing folks to really get that put together and make those available to our customers. But beyond that, with all the modernization within the facility, there's a lot of research in that community. It's a great state. I look at all of the contractors, especially bridge and surface transportation contractors that are up in the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, the Great Lakes, the Rust Belt. It's going to be a real easy drive for a lot of them. And so hopefully we'll be able to pull a lot of those folks in. And Ohio DOT is pretty influential. They have a lot going on there. So we're going to work with them to get their folks there. And as you both know, we've been talking a lot about the contractor community and how we can continue to better serve them. So one thing that we're in the works on, this is a little bit of breaking news, we are committing to doing a special 3 to 4 hour, maybe 2 to 4 hours off-site, hands-on demonstration type situation for contractors that will have equipment, and we're going to target owners, contractors, coatings manufacturers to start. We're going to look at how we can include everyone else in that, but we are going to do that. And what my hope is that when we leave Columbus, all those people who have given us feedback over the last months and years are going to be able to say, wow, they really hurt us there. So, you know, it's really shaping up to be a good venue. Stephanie Chiswick has been working very closely with our market vertical leaders, Ernst and Jen and Tim and Gassam, as well as with all the people that are tied into the technical committees, the TCIs, the SCs, all the people that typically are involved in bringing the content to life. And they're already working on the call for content. And so there's so many things that they're gathering here this week that we're going to get ready to reconvene when we get back home and then push this all back out so that we can start the whole process for next year.
Boy, you guys aren't wasting a minute of time, are you?
Always planning.
You're rolling now.
You have to. You have to.
In 2026, just to put a bow on it, sounds like a definite win, exceeded all your expectations.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm just so grateful to everybody, all of our members, all of our customers, our staff, colleagues. I really couldn't have been more thrilled with how things turned out.
And unlike the last 2 years, the weather held up.
Weather was great.
Absolutely. All right, with that, that will do it for our coverage at the 2026 AMP Annual Conference and Expo. We appreciate all of you so much for watching, and please stay tuned to all the Coatings Pro, Materials Performance, all the AMP media, social media outlets that you follow us on. Please keep doing that. We'll have more coverage of AMP events and beyond, really the entire corrosion control industry over the weeks and months ahead. As always, we appreciate you. Stay safe, safe travels, and we'll talk to you again soon.